room, I have an incredible passion for travel, languages, and people, and how they all come together. Languages in particular have always intrigued me, but I've grown up in an English-speaking household where most of my community's main language is English. Luckily, when I was little, a Russian family moved into the neighborhood, and my immediate thought was, whoa, new friends who talk cool. The family had 4 kids, and all of the kids in the neighborhood had formed a sort of coalition, if you will. I was over the moon about the new additions to the group, but my excitement was halted when the other kids in the neighborhood started huddling together, collaborating on their stereotypes, exchanging did you hears and I heards. When the new kids came to the park for the first time, most of the other kids just sat atop the play structure and stared, glared even. I was so confused and eventually outraged. I couldn't believe that one group had entirely shut out newcomers without even talking to one another. Sound familiar? I didn't know what to call it at the time. I knew it was ignorance, but I didn't know what to do. I found FIUTS by total chance, and thank God for marketing. Their programs have offered me the space, guidance, and freedom to grow through many mistakes tremendously, not only as a leader, but a person. The beautiful skill of self-awareness and the virtue of patience are only 2 of the valuable attributes I have developed, in large part by this organization and its programs. At the first program I participated in with FIUTS, I had my first major self-awareness check. It was the Seattle Language, Culture, and Institute Youth Leadership Summer Camp. It was made of about 25 or so students, all ranging in personality, native language, origin, and most importantly for this story, culture. The group was split up into 2 morning classes based on English proficiency. Now I know this isn't the most personal setting, but I'm sure you can imagine I'm energetic, outgoing, and comfortable and definitely capable of talking. So naturally, discussion group settings were where I thrived, or at least I thought I did. Between the 2 classes, there was about an even split, which meant that whenever we'd come together, there would be this hesitancy looming in the room through beautiful displays of awkward silence. But rest assured, I was there time and time again to demolish that silence with the sledgehammer of my voice. Whether it was short anecdotes, general conversation starters, or just mindless small talk, I genuinely thought it was better than sitting in silence. One day, our counselor started talking about American communication styles, and she said, yeah, Americans feel the need to constantly fill up empty space with their voice. We're uncomfortable with silence. And then it hit. She was talking about me. She was telling me to shut up. But in the most incredible way. It was coming from a place of cultural understanding, which forced me to stop and think about the way I was operating, which I thought was completely normal, in fact universal. But what shocked me the most was that never before had I stopped, or been forced to, check my mannerisms or behaviors and think about the cultural influence behind them. As silly as it sounds, for the first time in my life, I realized that silence is okay. Another lesson SLCI taught me is patience. In large thanks to my father, patience is not necessarily a trait that I happen to inherit. With students from Turkey, France, Brazil, China, and Japan, I cannot count the number of times where the process of demonstrating patience and allowing someone the space to think of the word or idea they're trying to convey in a tongue that is not their first gave way to the opportunity to build a connection. I remember one night during a dinner on an overnight camping trip, I decided to sit with Yuta and Keisuke, 2 students from Japan. The table was quiet for a bit, which, remember, I'm okay with now. But finally, Yuta turned to Keisuke and picked up his cup, and with one finger, he started rubbing the rim of the cup and talking to Keisuke in Japanese. They began smiling and laughing. Then Yuta turned to me and paused. I could tell he wanted to say something, but all he did was start rubbing the rim of his cup towards me. He saw the look of confusion on my face and said water, pointing inside the cup, and then noise. After about a solid 12 minutes of this few word back and forth, we got it. He was talking about the music that people make when they rub their finger on the glass, in the crystal, in the water. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But why he was talking about that, I have absolutely no idea. But after 11 minutes of confusion and 1 minute of that aha moment satisfaction, I realized that we both could have just given up and said never mind, but we didn't. And born from patience and persistence, we created a memory that I now have the honor of sharing with you all tonight. And I'll end with this. For weeks after my first program with FIUTS, I was on a sort of cloud 9, just with all of the new friends I made, lifelong memories, and newly gained knowledge. Then I remembered the Russian family. It just so happened that the oldest child was with his younger siblings at the park at the same time I was there, and it was just us. And then I realized, this is the real cross-cultural connection, down to a T. I got up from the bench where I was seated and plopped down on the tire swing next to them and said, "Hi," with a smile, which in hindsight was probably a little offsetting in its eagerness and excitement. But we just started talking, the oldest and I about school, and the younger sister and I about anything her mind would come up with. Smiles and waves are custom now whenever we see each other in the neighborhood, destroying the emotionless Russian stereotype. I'm confident in saying that the connection between this family and me would not have been made if not for the skills I acquired, the relationships I made, and the lessons I learned from the Foundation for International Understanding through students.